Okay, so this is Milo. He runs with an Acme 211.5 whistle, which we'll send one with him when he goes. He has 3 different whistles that he actually works with. One is the simple sit command, which is just a single blast. The other one is a heel or come in command, numerous teats. And the other one is a hunt whistle. So if he gets into thicker cover, you will be able to tell him to put his nose down and hunt right where he's at. When you blow that whistle, if he's out and about, he'll start to hunt. So in the very beginning, when Milo first gets to you, we're going to also send a lead with him. And what I would do to get Milo converted over to the way that you blow the leash or the whistle, I would use this leash. Sit. So in the very beginning, you're going to want to walk him and do what I call sit and heel drills. Take your whistle and reinforce the sit and the heel command when you walk him. In the very beginning, every time you stop, you give a little tug. He's not a dog that takes a big correction. He's an easier, smoother going dog. So just a little tug will let him understand he's supposed to stop for you. And then when you go to walk away from him, if you give him a single blast, it tells him to remain seated while you walk away. And you want to get out in front of him. He should zip in the heel real quick. So you're going to want to practice for a few minutes and then get him to where you can do it without the leash in your hand. You're going to want to get it to where you can teat as you're walking and walk away from him and he sits down and waits on you. And you never stop your feet. And then the last thing that you're going to want to do you're going to want to give yourself, I only gave myself 20 feet because I know that he knows my whistle very well. You're going to want to give yourself about 30 yards. Dog sitting here, you're 30 yards away. You teed him in. As he's coming in, you give a single blast and sit him down. And then teed him on into you. It's unfair to the dog to take him out of the box on day number 1 and expect him to understand the way you blow the whistle. Even though it's going to be an Acme 211.5 whistle, it's not going to be the same way that I blew the whistle, nor the same way that his previous owner blew the whistle. So you're going to want to get him used to the way that you're going to blow this whistle. And then, after that, we're going to go into a simple single retrieve with him. Now, he'll run all of this stuff for me smooth, but I'm breaking this down to demonstrate to you what I would do to convert the dog over to handling for you really smooth. First, single retrieve, we're going to stop him halfway to it. Back. Now once again, I'm breaking this stuff down into demonstration for you. So after you do the initial first, maybe 3 to 5, let him use the leash, walk him halfway, spin him around, push him back to it, spin him around, push him back to it. Make sure that he understands fully that he's got to stop with your whistle. Then you can actually take your lead off and run him without the lead on the single retrieve. Heel. Back. Now he hunts as he goes. He's used to thick cover. He's about 15 yards to the downwind side of that bumper and smelled it and zipped right to it. So as this dog goes through the cover, he's following his nose a good bit. So now the next thing that I might would do with him, after just stopping him for the single and pushing him back, is a scenario to where you shoot two birds down, you got a crippled bird and a dead bird. So I would always want the crippled bird first. I'm gonna throw a double out, and to present the fact that I'm not always next to him, I'm gonna be about 3 foot from him. I'm gonna send him, stop him, I'm gonna push him over to the other bird. That way, if I can't always line him as I'm hunting him, then I can always stop him in the water and push him wherever I want him or on land. Heel. Get over. The dog's been switched. The dog's been switched a decent bit. He took off 15, 20 feet for one and darted for the other one. He's trying to out-predict what I'm going to do. So I just stopped him after he got going for that one good and easily casted him over to the other one. So now I'm going to do a simple memory of letting him go pick that one up real quick. Heel. Heel. Sit. Or better yet, I should say I'm going to test his memory. Milo. He ran about within 10 feet of it, maybe 12 feet of it. Come in. Good job. Okay, so we took Milo over and just threw him a cool-off bumper in the water. Let him cool off, sat him in the shade for a minute. He's used to being sat down and walked away from him. I can get 70, 80, or 100 yards away from him, and he'll sit there, and eventually he'll just lay down and wait for somebody to tell him something to do. So as long as you start in the beginning and establish a dominant leadership role and obedience with him and keep him under control from the very beginning, you shouldn't have any issues as far as things like this go. Heel. Straight out shot, bird straight out front. Maybe somebody shot two down to the right while we stopped our dog. Oh! Good job, man. That's a good job. What's in it? Get over. Good job, Milo. Good job, man. So he overran that one a little bit. He's getting a little hot, breathing through his mouth. All I did was simply teetered him back in downwind. He hunted coming in. I'm going to get him back here by this first one that was down, and I'm going to blow the hunt whistle after I stop him to demonstrate him putting his nose down. Try to zoom in on him a little bit as we do this one. Heel. So I kind of gave a real slow left hand gesture with the, and that just tells him, you know, instead of blasting on a big cast over to the left or the right, hunt as you go real hard. He just puts his nose down and goes right that way. Okay, if I were in a field trial running this particular dog, or any dog for that matter, I would try to line my dog up as precise as I could to the fall, to get him there, if possible, with 0 whistles. But on a hunting scenario, I know that's not always possible. So to keep the dog whistle responsive for numerous whistles, a lot of the times I will purposefully send the dog out, cast him away from the bumper, cast him back, cast him over, cast him back, in, out, over, left, right, 4, 5, or 6 casts intentionally before he finds the bumper. That way, if I'm hunting and I get in trouble with the dog after 2 or 3 casts, he's still got confidence in me for 5 or 6 casts. You always set your drills up simple. Once you and your dog get on the same page, if you set your drills up simple continually, when you need that 5th or that 6th cast, a lot of times the dog will lose confidence or faith in you. So what I'll do is I'll run them on a drill kind of like this here. Now the bumper's about 110 yards out over to the left. I'd say about 11 o'clock, somewhere in here. Heel. Sit. Back. Get back. Get back. Back. Get back. Get over. Get over. So I just wanted to show, you know, he'll handle out at a bigger distance. I wouldn't attempt this with these imported dogs until you really get on the same page with them up close, 50 to 70 yards, where everything's really, good job, man, heel, sit, where everything's really, really smooth. Then I would stretch out at bigger distances. And after that initial 2 or 3 weeks of getting the dog used to you and confident in you, then I would go to 4 and 5 and 6 casts before he actually gets a bumper in his mouth. All right, so when we get these dogs in, one thing that we do different with them that they haven't seen a lot of overseas is running off of platforms. We try to run them off of platforms because we know a lot of people hunt in timber with platforms set up. So we're going to run a cold blind here with this particular dog. As I tried to blow that hunt whistle in the beginning, he's fixing to come into the water and hunt back towards me. That's why I just told him to get over and grab it. Okay, so we're going to line Milo off of a mark, see how he does. Back. When you send him on a mark retrieve, you'll send him on his name. When you send him on a blind retrieve, you'll send him on back. Okay, so here we're just going to do a mark. Simply push Milo off of the mark to a different bumper that's down. Demonstrate, with these dogs, whenever we import them, a lot of them don't have a lot of water experience. We try to get them to where we can handle them on the water like we can handle them on the land, get their confidence built up in us, pushing them off of marks, switching them on doubles, hold blinds in the water, even sending them out and stopping them, going to a mark, throwing one off to the side or two, even with the remote launchers, and push them completely off of that. And once we get the dogs that are really confident, they're really confident in us, we can move them around how we want to move them around in the water. The trick is not to let them run too many marks once you get them to that point. All right, with this particular dog here, he's not a stubborn dog. He's not one you have to put a lot of corrections into. The biggest thing that you could do wrong with him would be bring him there and do too many marks with him and let him get used to going to everything he sees fall and picking it up. He can do that very easily. I would start off like the beginning of the video shows with your whistle, sitting and heeling, sitting and heeling, sitting and heeling, and then throwing that single mark for a session depending on how the dog reacts with you. Walking him towards that single mark, spinning him around, sitting him down, and pushing him back to it. And once you get the dog doing that for you, which everything's on lead there, so he's getting used to you as new handler. Then you get you a single mark out there and send him and stop him en route. And once you stop him en route, then push him back to it. From there you can start switching him on doubles, have your bumper planted to one side, where you have a mark out front, stop him going to that mark, push him to the side. Biggest thing with casting and handling a dog like this is when you blow the whistle, the dog needs to stop. So in the very beginning, when he gets there for 1 or 2 days, we'll just take tennis ball and get his tail wagging. As soon as his tail gets to wagging, because you're bouncing tennis balls around for him like this here. Okay, Milo. Okay, buddy. He loves tennis balls. We don't use tennis balls particularly to train with. They're just fun. So once you get a day or so, come see, man. Good boy. Of Milo grabbing tennis balls, sit, tail wagging and paying attention to you, then put a leash on him, start blowing your whistle at him, and move him over into training. But as soon as you move him over into training, you really want to get to your whistle work ASAP. Once you got him stopping for that single and going back, stop him on your doubles and switching. Once you got that going on, you can do that single out front, stop him and push him over to the left, where you got a bumper planted. And then before you know it, you always want to use planted bumpers to where he has no clue they're there. So he's going to a mark, and you stop him going to that mark and push him over to something that's planted. The biggest thing, like I was saying before, is when you blow the whistle, he needs to stop. So make sure that you get that established in the beginning. When you give the dog a cast, the whistle doesn't need to be on your chest. If you have him stop, and you give him an over to the left, as soon as you give that get over, if that dog goes anywhere but that direction, you should stop him again. If he's allowed to go 20 yards back or 20 yards right and go where Milo thinks it's at, he'll fight you longer and longer to cast smooth for you. So if you give that left, that's where he needs to go. If he doesn't, stop him. If he's getting closer to a bumper, teed him into you some. Bring him in closer to you, stop him again with a single blast, and push him where you want him to go. And in the very beginning, you should expect the first 2 to 3 weeks that he challenges you some. That's why you keep everything between about 40 and 60 yards, and you get it at the 100% range. When you're at the 95, the 100% range, then you add a little distance and add a little distance and the dog will work smooth for you at big distances. On day number 1 and 2, if you try to handle him at big distances, it's going to be trouble. Because he doesn't know you, he has zero confidence in you, and he's going to go simply hunt until he finds a bumper and bring it to you. If you want him to run marks, and that's the main thing that you need him for, when something falls and he sees it, simply say his name. He will go pick it up and bring it straight to you and give it to you. He has no issues with that. The trickier part is keeping all the cast and real clean cuts and smooth.